and I'm going to introduce what we're doing. This is the Happy House Hunters. We have a Meetup group. We also have a Facebook group. We are a free membership to the Happy House Hunters the first Tuesday, or I'm sorry, is this the first or second? This is the first Tuesday of every month. I had to stop and think what day I was on. And we record these calls, and then I will put them out in the Facebook group and also on the Meetup group so that you can go back and replay if you want to. It's up to you. But we also have a Happy House Hunters Mastermind membership. And so folks are welcome to join that. It is $25 a month. And in the membership site, we then also do mastermind calls. We have one program called Boots on the Ground. We have different boot camps that we do. We record all of those. There is an entire course, the 6 F's of real estate. And also we have a list of free forms. So for anyone that's getting into real estate, they can download those forms. They're all downloadable for you to use. And also there is a list of independent contractors that have been recommended or referred to us, and we list those there as well. So if you're looking for a furnace repair or a roof repair or whatever, there's some folks that you can go to that we have actually used in the past. So with that said, today we're starting out at the beginning of the year with finding. The 6 F's are finding the real estate, then funding it. Once we find it, we have to figure out how to fund it so we can buy it. Once we fund it, then we have to fix it, as we all know. And I see several of my mastermind members here on the call. And as we all know, once you find it and fund it, then you've got to fix it. Once you fix it, you can decide whether you're going to flip it or whether you're going to fill it. And then finally, what is your freedom number? How many of those do you need to either flip or buy and hold to fill, to where you can just do this full time? And then the more that you buy and hold or fill, then you can turn that into passive income to where you don't have to punch the time clock. So that's our goal at the end of the day, is to make whatever amount of money that we need for our freedom number. Everyone's freedom number is different. But again, today we're going to talk about finding. How do we find those great deals? And so with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie Jenkins. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then she is going to tell us how she finds these great deals for us. So Stephanie, it's all up to you now, kiddo.
All right, great. Thanks, Kath, so much. Hey, everybody. I am Stephanie Jenkins. My company is Stephanie Jenkins Home Group with Remax Connection Realtors. I have an office in Canal Winchester in the Village, and also in Gahanna and New Albany, as well as I work all over Greater Columbus. And my MLS, my affiliation myself, I'm licensed with 4 different MLSs surrounding Greater Columbus as well. And I know many of you already and have helped you find incredible properties that you've already either bought and held for your portfolios or fixed and flipped thus far. And I've been in real estate, 20 years this year. So I started my career with builders, building ground up single family homes, condominiums, luxury homes, Romanelli and Hughes, Long and Wilcox. I have my license in California and in Florida, as well as Ohio, but this is my home state. And I myself have been investing in real estate since the very first house that I bought. I turned it into a rental property. And while I moved out and turned it into a rental property, it later on went on to flip and sell for a profit. And then it was rolling. It was really rolling. That was in 1998. And from there, I have had many rental properties as well as flipped property. And as a licensed real estate agent now, I help others do the same thing, as well as regular real estate also. So my designations, there are designations behind a real estate agent's name, and sometimes you wonder what those mean. And mine are ABR, which is Accredited Buyer's Representative, meaning that I'm a real estate agent who can help a buyer find any type of a niche home that you may be looking for. I also have a designation of ASP, Accredited Staging Professional, That means that I have in my past and still stage houses so that they're more desirable. When you sell homes, a staged home sells in less time and for much more money. So those of you who have worked with me up to this point know that I stage your homes virtually this last year due to COVID. And that's really beautiful. You look at a home on the MLS or on realtor.com and you see all the beautiful furniture and the artwork. And that's typically a staged home. And because of COVID, we do virtual staging. And with my investors who do flip homes, I have virtually staged every single one of them, meaning furniture is placed in every room. It looks amazing. And it sells practically before it even hits the market, which is actually the way the market's been all year. My third designation, well, all last year, because we're in a new year. So Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. My third designation is a short sale and foreclosure resource, SFR. A short sale and foreclosure resource really took effect. And even though I got the designation in 2009, think about it, it's right when I needed the designation, really. Because those of you who recall, when the banks collapsed in the late fall of 08, the market took a major turn and real estate took a dive. Prices were so low. There were a lot of short sales, meaning that the homes were being sold on the market for less than what was owed on the actual mortgage. You could not get rid of a home. Investors took such advantage of that market. We're in the complete opposite of that market now. So my short sale and foreclosure designation resource is super helpful for all of you because I do deal with a lot of bank owned real estate property that's bank owned, as well as if it's going through the short sale process. But I've done hundreds of those 2009, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, and then the market started coming back 14, 15, 16, 17. Right now, there's a tiny handful of bank owned and short sale property in the Columbus MLS. So I'm going to get into all of that with you. So designations as an accredited buyer representative, a short sale and foreclosure and bank owned real estate agent resource, and a staging professional. Moving on from there, I actually list homes as well. So the whole gamut with myself in real estate, my sister's a real estate agent. I've been doing it 19 years, and finding real estate there are so many ways. I'm going to go over at least a dozen ways to find real estate, and specifically, guys, for you, meaning where can I find these great deals? And what would I want to get for a great deal as an investor or put in my portfolio to buy it and hold it and rent it out? Maybe it needs fixed up. Where can I find distressed property? Where do I look? So I'm going to go over at least a dozen different ways as an investor for you to find real estate. And as I go through these, there are a lot of terminologies that are going to go right over your head. And I want you to raise your hand because Kathy will see you and we can stop. Please do. So we can stop wherever I'm at and we can go over what it is that I'm talking about with a certain word or a certain term that I'm using. So I'm going to get started, and the dozen ways I'm going to go over, we're going to go from broad and go down narrowed further and further and further. And the very first way to find real estate, and please do not think that you shouldn't do it, is in the MLS, the multiple listing service. And yes, investors get tons of real estate in the multiple listing service or the MLS. Now, as I move further away from the MLS, and I'm going to go into real detail here, I'm going to get into all the other ways other than the MLS as well. So the multiple listing service is a paid service. Ours in Columbus is Columbus in the greater Columbus area. It literally can go out north of Delaware all the way to, you can go all the way out to Etna and Past and Pataskala. It literally is about a 15-mile radius outside and past 270, all the way around 270, 15 miles further out. And again, in the MLS, this is hugely important. A lot of you think, well, I can look at the MLS because I'm looking on the internet and all of these websites say that they are getting their data from the MLS. you guys, I want you all to know that the only website that is accurate and the only website that mirrors my Columbus multiple listing service nationwide, it is not Zillow. Please, it's realtor.com. And realtor.com is owned by the NAR, the National Association of Realtors. Realtor.com is updated. It used to be every 19 minutes. It went from every 31 minutes down to every 19 minutes. It's updated now every 4.5 minutes. We've got it down to. So if a property changes status and it goes from active down to contingent, meaning under contract, or to pending. Oh, sorry about that. Did I go away there, Kath? Oh,
You're back.
Oh, I'm back. Well, Kath, you may want to shoot a text for me. That was Keenan. Let him know, shoot Keenan the link, because that was Keenan probably asking me for the link. Thank you so much. So guys, the National Association of Realtors actually owns realtor.com. So the MLS is a private site, and only licensed real estate agents that pay money get to belong to the Columbus MLS or any MLS across the nation. And there is a mirror site, realtor.com, that mirrors the MLS, except one thing that's super important. My MLS has a private section for every single listing called agent to agent remarks, as well as my MLS contains property disclosures. So private agent to agent remarks, literally guys, they're every single thing that when you look up a house, and a lot of you are probably looking at Zillow and Trulia and homes.com and Google Homes, and you're probably looking at all those sites. I strongly encourage you to stop doing that. Maybe look at them as your favorite one for photographs or pictures or images. But when you really want the right information, go to realtor.com. And realtor.com is going to give you everything except for the private agent remarks. And as you guys, as investors, you want to see the private agent remarks because it's the only thing that you cannot see. It can only be seen by people that pay money to the Columbus MLS. And here's what it says. It might say, let's say I'm looking at a duplex, a double, and it might say side A is rented for $850 per month. Side B is not rented right now currently. Or it might say side A has a lease that expires in March of 2021. Side B currently rented for $750 a month, expires in July. And the MLS, or I'm so sorry, the private agent remarks also might say something like, oh, just to let you know, it's in a floodplain. That's a huge example, guys. Something like a property being in a floodplain. Or just to let you know, there's no photos of the house up because the house is filled with a lot of furniture and debris that needs to be moved out by the new buyer. So for example, you're probably wondering, why aren't there any photos? The private agent remarks tell you a whole myriad of things that are mostly important to you as an investor. Well, is it rented? What is it rented for? Why are there no pictures? Wait a minute, look at that basement. What's that machine? Is that a radon system installed? And the agent remarks give you lots of private stuff. And that's where I come in, or any other real estate agent comes in. And guys, we have a lot of stuff to cover. So a lot of areas to cover. So as I move past on the MLS, use realtor.com, know that the private agent remarks and the actual property disclosures, meaning the condition of the home that you're looking at, those are in my MLS. So if you have your own real estate agent, you're going to want to text them and you're going to want to ask that agent, what are the private agent remarks on this property? It's also where a statement says multiple offers have been received. Highest and best offer needs to be in by Friday at 6 p.m. It's also the area where it might say, oh, this property can only go cash. We can't take a loan. It's a cash only property. And instead of me drilling down into complete detail on all of those aspects, all of these documents, everything I'm saying, guys, I have a book written on this that Kathy has in her masterminds section for all of you that are members. This is in the mastermind section. So when you look in the MLS for property, you want to look at realtor.com. Then you want to text or email your real estate agent or me. All of you can feel free to contact me. My associate Kyle happens to be on this call with us. So Kyle's name and number is there as well. It may say Stephanie Jenkins Home Group. Ask us what the private agent remarks are, and chances are it has to do with something that you need to know about whether or not the property is distressed, or what the terms are to buy the property, if there are tenants there, what the terms are for the leases. Anything and everything is in those private remarks. So what I do is a screenshot and I send it to my client. And that's mostly what or put it in an email or whatever the case may be. So in the MLS, guys, use realtor.com. So the number one way to look at property is definitely the MLS, meaning realtor.com. For those of you that are not agents, please don't discount the MLS, because I can tell you out of 4 dozen closings from last year that I had 2020, out of 4 dozen closings, I can easily tell you that 95% of them were the MLS. I only had 2 closings that were non-MLS closings, because guys, keep this in mind. There's so many rules with listing properties, meaning listing bank-owned properties, listing investment properties. They actually go in the MLS because it's more lucrative for somebody that's trying, and we will get into wholesaling. All of you are probably thinking, wait a minute, what about homes wholesaling? Those aren't listed in the MLS, and I'm going to get to those. But out of 4 dozen properties in 2020, if not more, I can easily say that 90% of those were MLS closed properties. So number one, how to find property is definitely the MLS, and for you, realtor.com, updated every few minutes. So the second thing is, it's a licensed real estate agent. But guys, not just any licensed real estate agent, and definitely not just me at all. I'm going to go over what you need to do to find a real estate agent who is licensed and who is investor friendly. I'm going to go through some key target phrases with you that you need to ask of the realtor that you're working with. And many of you, I'm sure, are, if you're in this class, you're probably working with a realtor on some level. So you need a licensed real estate agent who belongs to the MLS, number one. So then what we can do as a licensed real estate agent is we can go into the MLS and set up searches that are literally designated to you. And I have such important things to tell you about this. Number one, let's say you want only bank-owned properties. You want to see all the listed bank-owned properties. Done. I will get a search set up for you. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, your email is going to ding and there's a bank-owned property that just came on the market. Let's say you only want to see short sales. There are people, because of the election, guys, there are people saying there's a wave coming. There could be a wave coming of bank-owned and short sale properties because of COVID. Unfortunately, a lot of people have gone into a distressed situation, and that is a benefit for this group, for everyone, because there could be a wave of properties that are a much better deal for you to get. So in the MLS, I can set you up, or any real estate agent can set you up on searches that are for bank-owned, for short sales, meaning the bank is selling the property for less than what's owed on the mortgage. You get a great deal because of that. Distressed properties are typically normally, distressed means you get a much better deal for them. So a distressed property means that when you buy it, there's going to be elbow grease to be done. You're going to need to fix it up. It might need paint, appliances, drywall work. It might need all mechanicals. In the MLS, I have a box of searching keywords. I have a keyword search where I can bring up properties that are distressed properties. Who would have thought? But I can. And you yourself would spend weeks trying to find that type of a search on Zillow. Also, with a licensed real estate agent, let me let you know the key things to know about that real estate agent. Myself, I'm familiar with bank-owned, short sales. I have my license for both of those. HUD homes, I happen to be a licensed HUD broker. That's a special designation that I can list HUD homes. And housing and urban development, if anybody doesn't know, HUD homes are owned by Housing and Urban Development. HUD homes are absolutely an incredible deal, but you have to have a real estate agent who is familiar, or can they get onto these bank-owned websites? Do they have the correct licensing to do so? The real estate agent that you're working with, are they familiar with tax liens in real estate, because you might buy a property at a tax sale, guys. I'm going to get into that with you tonight. Tax sales are another way to buy a property, sometimes for a really inexpensive amount of money, for the taxes that are owed on the property. The owner might be in a distressed situation, and you're probably thinking, I want to buy a property on a tax sale. Believe me, you do. And if you have the money to do it, you can do that. So you want to have a real estate agent who knows about tax liens. Sheriff sales. There are real estate agents that can direct you on how to find sheriff sales. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a few minutes. If you're a real estate agent, this is so important. 2 questions here. Your real estate agent and you as an investor needs to know what ROI stands for. If you're working with a realtor, guys, and you say, well, what does ROI stand for? And they don't know the answer, you're not working with the right real estate agent for what you're doing with your life. You are an investor and you want to make money, and that's your goal, is to have a portfolio of properties that you buy and hold and that make money for you. ROI is return on investment. And if you're working with a realtor that doesn't know what return on investment means, they're not a investor friendly realtor. Not that they're not the friendliest realtor ever, because they probably are, and they can still set up a search for you, but they may not be the right real estate agent. So make sure that you know that. The other question for a real estate agent that you're working with is ARV. This is huge. If a real estate agent does not know what ARV means, that's after repair value. And some of you right now may not know what ARV means. Oh, sorry about that. Some of you right now may not know what ARV means, after repair value. If you're working with a realtor that doesn't know, honest to gosh, you really may want to find an investor-friendly real estate agent. After repair value is everything that you as an investor needs to know. We're going to find you the properties, and we're going to run numbers, such as me, myself. We're going to run numbers on properties that we find for you that tell you the after repair value. So another term for when you're working with a real estate agent that right now that maybe they're not that friendly to you being an investor, maybe they just want to show you the shiny, perfect house at the end of the street. That's okay. Get your searches set up. Ask for searches to be set up for you by a real estate agent that are bank owned, short sale, estate, guys, estate or probate. You know, when your grandma unfortunately passes away, her property it goes to probate court and it becomes an estate sale to settle the estate of someone who's passed away. I can set you up a dedicated search. A lot of mainstream real estate agents, they don't even know how to get to that section. So really important that you know that having a great agent in your pocket that's investor friendly, we will find you what you're looking for, no matter what type of property that it is. So another item that's super important is, and it's going to seem really small, but hear me closely. There is a section in the MLS and on every search that's set up, guys, and you definitely want to do this on realtor.com if you're setting up your own searches for property. Make sure you set it up on realtor.com, which is owned by my MLS. Here's why. Because if I set up a search for you of all bank-owned properties, which I set it up, it's all bank-owned, it's only up to $50,000, for example, it's only in a certain geographic area. Let's just say that that property gets listed at 3:15 in the morning by a real estate agent. I get notified at 3:15 in the morning. Let's just say that by 9 a.m., I have already seen that property pop up. I see it, I'm up. I tell my client about it at 9:30. We go see this bank-owned property at noon. I have a contract on that property by 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm first in line because I'm an investor-friendly real estate agent. I'm first in line, guys. Let me point this out to you. If your real estate agent has you set up on an MLS search or you're set up on a Zillow search, you're only notified one time a day, unless it's realtor.com. In the MLS, unless your realtor has set you up on a search called ASAP, and it really is called ASAP in the MLS, unless your real estate agent has you set up on the ASAP checkbox, you have to go super deep to get to the ASAP checkbox. You might only be getting results coming to you one time a day, because as a realtor in the Columbus MLS, results only come to you one time a day as a full batch, 7 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever time it's originally set up. They only come once every 24 hours. That is terrible in this market when properties are gone within hours. So that is huge. And believe me, I'm not discounting your real estate agent. Have them change all of your searches to ASAP. And yes, that really is what it's called, so that you know. Also, you need to have a real estate agent, guys, who's familiar with wholesalers. So I happen to know some wholesalers, but I'm going to get into wholesalers as well. Realtors who are familiar with wholesalers, I have people calling me saying, hey, do you have a buyer for this ranch that's just outside of Bexley? Wholesalers are not real estate agents. Wholesalers actually are a middleman who finds property, right? Because they want that good deal on the property. Let's say the property is not even listed. They find a property, they somehow get a hold of the owner, is what a wholesaler does. Then they tell the owner, oh, don't worry, I have a buyer for you. And they give a middleman markup of, say, $15,000, a middleman markup. And it's still an incredible deal. Well, that wholesaler calls me and says, do you have a buyer, an investor, guys, meaning you? Do you have an investor for this property? Because I'm a wholesaler and I just found this great property, in Bexley, and they're going to sell it to me for $100,000, but I need a buyer for $125,000. And the middleman, the wholesaler, makes the difference. But you guys have to have wholesalers to find the property. I know wholesalers, my team does, but you also, guys, you guys can also find and work with wholesalers. I'm going to get into wholesalers as well. I will just give you an example, and this is all in Kathy's mastermind. The website Central Ohio REIA, it's literally all a wholesaler's website. You guys can go there and connect with wholesalers as investors. And so that's a great item. And I'm going to get more into wholesalers as well. The other thing with the agent that you find that you work with, you need to find an agent that literally knows other investor-friendly agents, which Kathy and I do. We both know plenty of real estate agents who are familiar with what investors need to find the property that they need. I just want you guys to know it is the biggest difference in the world when you have somebody like Kathy that knows what she's doing, or a real estate agent like me. We're both investor friendly, and it's all the difference in the world. And you're out there trying to pedal and swim, like, where do I find the great deals? Where do I even turn? It's that easy to connect yourself with the correct MLS searches, to look yourself in the correct places. If you are using the MLS, use realtor.com. Then on top of that, connect yourself with a real estate agent who's friendly, but keep your real estate agent. Just make sure they have the right searches set up for you ASAP, and also backdoor searches like bank owned, short sales, estates. There are a whole host that I have in a document that I'm going to be providing for all of you. So another item that's huge that I want you guys to know about is a misrepresented listing. This is another area where, for Kathy's group, I have two examples. I'm not going to go into great detail, but two of Kathy's members of her mastermind group, which we will be getting together Friday this week, you all know. Two of them, we were able to secure the listing because Kathy and I found a mistake in the listing. They were misrepresented. One of them didn't have a picture at all, which that's pretty normal. There are a lot of realtors, believe it or not, sometimes they're lazy and they don't put up pictures. So there was a property, and Kathy, you might remember, it was on Belvedere. It was listed with no photos. It said that it was a 2-bedroom, not a 4. It said it didn't have a basement. It had a great basement. It said it didn't have a garage. It had a great garage. It was a Cape Cod with a fenced yard, a car and a half, almost 2-car detached garage, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms downstairs, a great floor plan, original wood floors. It was not in terrible condition. And I am here to let you guys know it was a misrepresented listing. Nobody was looking at it. You guys, you didn't know any better because you're probably seeing it, passing it right by. Like, I don't want to see that. So one of Kathy's group members and masterminds, which all of you likely may be at some point, went ahead and we purchased that house for $48,000. We ended up turning it into a mansion. And because there was so much misrepresentation, it was a 4-bedroom with an incredible layout and floor plan in great condition. It was not terribly distressed. Because there were squatters in it, it did need some plumbing replaced and some electrical replaced. We did put new windows in it. We bought it for 48, ended up somehow managing, if I'm not mistaken, to end up getting it at 42. We put another 42,000 into it, sold it at 160,000, and the profit was over $60,000 for that member. And I think that just closed about 6 months ago. That's just one story out of over a dozen that I can tell you from Kathy's group that have closed on property in the last 7-8 months. That's just one little story. Misrepresented property is huge, and you need a good real estate agent to find misrepresented property. Don't go, if something is sitting on the market and sitting and sitting and sitting, there's a reason why. And that takes you back to the agent to agent remarks, and it takes you back to what's wrong, why is it sitting here? So the first 2 topics, and we have 10 more to go over, so I'll go a little bit faster. First 2 topics, you're looking in the MLS, but you're using realtor.com. Next way to find property, find these incredible special properties, is with a good real estate agent. Keep the one you have, just educate them or have them call me, and I will walk your agent how to set up searches that are appropriate for you as an investor. Okay, here's a third way, guys, and you're going to start to hear about all the ways that you hear about, but you don't even know where to begin. Third one, driving for dollars. Okay, so we're going to start to move into whole nother realms of how people find distressed property. Driving for dollars, literally, if you've been to dealmachine.com, that again, there's just an example. This is like a free trial website where you don't have to spend any money to do a free trial, and you're given examples from high-level investors that have done this. Driving for dollars means that you really, really are, and I know a lot of you have done it, you're driving through the neighborhoods that you want to invest in. So you're driving through the neighborhoods you want to invest in. You're looking for distressed homes. You're looking for the white notices taped on the doors. You're looking for the tall grass. You're looking for the snow that's not removed. You can tell that the house is in a distressed condition. So you're driving, you see these houses. I would like all of you to know right now that I happened to have been on a road in Blacklick that abuts a creek. I saw 2 homes that were in distressed condition. I don't know, this was maybe 3 months ago. It was in the fall. You best believe I turned around and I wrote down the addresses of the homes, totally high grasses. I could tell something was going on. I am already looking into what's going on. I already know what's going on with both of these homes. If either of these homes, because I did all the footwork after I wrote the addresses down, that I was driving for dollars, basically, I saw them and wrote it down. I'm going to be first in line when either of these houses are sold. I'm going to be the first one that the family calls. An attorney is handling one of them. The family's handling the other. I was able through a lot of legwork to get to them. So here's how you find out about these houses, guys. You're driving around the neighborhood you want to invest. You see the house, it looks distressed. First thing you want to do, you want to get out, take your notes, write down the address, listen. Talk to the neighbors, but be polite. Be super polite. If there's a neighbor in the yard, you might say, oh my gosh, it looks like nobody lives here. Be so nice, but don't be afraid to ask for some information. People like to give information, believe it or not. When you ask someone what they know, they don't mind sharing. People like to share what they know. So the neighbor may give you, what if the neighbor's not out there? Well, okay, you've got the property address. Go straight to the auditor site. Take that address and start doing your due diligence, doing your homework. So you're going to go to property.franklincountyauditor.com. That's the property search. Of course, you can Google it and find it as well. There's also a common search you can go in Franklin County. You can do a tax search. You can look up the auditor records. You can see who owns it. You can also do other types of searches on the address to see if there's any tax liens or a water bill. You can find all of these links at the auditor site to find all this out. Once you get to the auditor site, when you're driving for dollars, because you got to start somewhere, you see who the owner is, boom, you go to whitepages.com and you start cross-referencing. So you've got to, or in these days, you go to Facebook and you literally look for the person that owns the property. Once you are like, gosh, this is such a great property. I've driven for dollars. I have 10 addresses in 6 neighborhoods or 10 neighborhoods. At that point, you find out who the owners are. You write letters. People right now that are probably on this call with me, they have written letters in Delaware to these beautiful homes in Delaware. They've written letters saying this beautiful big brick mansion has been sitting here empty. It seems like a year. What's going on? Is there anything I can help with? Are you going to be selling it? Do you plan on renting it out? So guys, driving for dollars, you're getting in your car, you're finding the houses in the neighborhoods you want, you're writing down the address, you're going back home, you're looking up the owners, you're trying to find out information. Be an investigator. So look for their phone number, look for their email address, look for a company that they may own. I hate to say this and you didn't hear me say it, but if nobody's looking and if nobody's around, see if any mail fell out of the mailbox or something. Just saying, I mean, just look and see. It may have fallen right out. May have fallen right out. So do what you can to get the information. And on that information, honest to gosh, if you cross-reference with whitepages.com, if you cross-reference with Google, if you write the letter and you explain who you are and that you have the intention of buying the property. Do you know how many times people have opened a letter? I've been told this, and I know Kathy has. Someone has opened a letter and they're like, well, I got your letter and I was planning on selling the property and I didn't even know where to start. And do you know, it starts that ball rolling? And there are people in our group, Kathy's group, that have gotten property from dialing for dollars. They've gotten it. It totally works. It's amazing. The reason that you hear so much, guys, about dialing for dollars is because it works. Keep that in mind. I'm going to go to a whole nother area, but it's still like, instead of driving, let's go to direct mail. Totally different topic. Okay. So you're probably thinking direct mail. Okay. Go to the United States Postal Service.com, USPS.com, right? If you guys are not familiar with this as investors, this is amazing. I have people, again, that I know for a fact do this. This is how a lot of the big time players on YouTube, etc., this is how they start out. You find an area on the United States Postal Service, you can do a map search. You zoom in to the neighborhood that you want. Did you guys know it gives you, you can export that neighborhood's addresses onto a PDF spreadsheet in Excel with labels, and it's got every address. So what you're going to do is you identify the neighborhood you want to mail in. So the website gives you that you can export it for free. You've got all of the addresses in that neighborhood. Guys, there are hundreds of companies. I just want you to know, there are hundreds of companies who will do this for you. And that neighborhood, let's just say it seems like everybody in that neighborhood is, I'm not kidding, hear me closely. Let's say it seems like everybody in that neighborhood seems to be retiring and downsizing and moving out. Seems like there's a lot of turnover. Seems like everyone is getting of an age where maybe they don't want to be there anymore. Maybe they don't want the stairs. Guys, what you do is you either buy your own envelopes and paper and postage and you write and print the letters yourself, or you hire a company to do all of this for you and you just write the verbiage. What you do is you design it yourself, or you do it yourself, or you pay for it. And in these letters, you let them know that you have the intention of buying their house. Wholesalers do this big time. So the intention that you have is you want to buy the house. So direct mail, find the neighborhood, write the letter, let them know you want to buy the house, explain a little about yourself, use whatever method you decide, whether it's I really want to buy in your neighborhood for my family, or whether it's I can offer you an incredible amount of money. I can see how beautiful your home is, all these beautiful updates you've done over the years, and I would like to buy it. So direct mail, Kath, if I'm not mistaken, one of the big Deeper Pockets, if I'm not mistaken, one of the main guys at Deeper Pockets, literally to this day, they still use the mailer method. And if I'm not mistaken, they do it nationwide. Nationwide, they send out these letters that they want to buy. And so you guys, you're on a smaller scale, but the reason the people at Deeper Pockets do it is because direct mail works. Wholesalers, like I mentioned, wholesalers completely do it. So let me move a little bit past the direct mail, and I'm going to flip over to, should I go into that one now? You can pay a wholesaler to do yourself the direct mail as well, and the dollars for driving, the driving for dollars. So I just want to go ahead and tie those together. That again, if you don't want to do it yourself, if you don't want to write the letters and mail them, and you don't want to go writing up the high grass, and maybe you don't want to go into the neighborhoods and like leave something hanging on their door that you have every intention of buying, you can actually go to that website, guys, that I gave you earlier, the Central Ohio REIA.com, and you can actually connect with the wholesaler, and you can actually pay the wholesaler to do these things for you. Wholesalers want to make money, and wholesalers are known for hustling. They will hustle. They'll do all of it for you. So you pay the fee to the wholesaler, and then what the wholesaler does, guys, is they assign the contract to you. That's how you get the house that's not even listed, and that's how you get it with the wholesaler without doing any of the work. You're not doing the mailings, you're not doing the driving for dollars. You are having a wholesale, you're not doing it yourself as the wholesaler, all of the above. So the contract is assigned to you, and the wholesaler says, hey, I've got this house over here in Berwick outside of Bexley, and they're willing to sell it to you for $125,000, and I'm gonna work with you and give the contract to you. But guys, keep in mind, if it's a wholesaler and if it's just you, you do want to have the advice of an attorney or a real estate agent and an accountant. You don't want to go at that yourself. You need to have a title company for that property to change hands, or an attorney, one or the other. So please know you've got to have good counsel to get to the closing table. When you do get that property that you found, whether it's the mainstream ways or the private ways, you definitely need to have good legal advice from a real estate attorney, from a title company. Myself as a realtor, I can direct you in the right direction. Kathy can direct you in the right direction so that you can get one of these properties closed in your name. Then you've added that great property to your portfolio. And guess what you can do with it? I just want to interject here. Keep in mind what we're doing, people. We're making money. So you can either fix it up and flip it and sell it for a profit, or you can keep it and hold it and put renters into it and put it in your portfolio. So that's a really big way in terms of the wholesaler doing the work for you. Oh, am I good on time, Kath? Where are we at? Oh yeah, I'm pretty good on time. Is there a question, Kath? Oh, for some reason I can't hear you.
John just says he has to jump off, but
okay, good deal.
We still have time. Go ahead.
Okay, good deal. So guys, now we're up to another area that is you hear about, but you don't know where to begin. And this is a really big one. Auctions, sheriff sales, bank owns, government owns. Another way for you to find property to buy. And again, guys, keep in mind that MLS is always the main way. I mean, it's always the number one way is to find the property. But all of these things I just mentioned, they're not always listed in the MLS. Oftentimes, these are directly on a bank's own website, especially small mom and pop family owned banks, privately owned banks, portfolio banks. So auctions, sheriff sales, bank owns, government owned websites, anything, tax sales. So through these, there are counties in Ohio that keep specific lists of their REO, which is real estate owned. I'll give you an example for Franklin County, and this is going to be in writing. I don't expect you to write this down, but it's sheriff.franklincountyohio.gov/services/real estate sales. So you got to do a lot of legwork to get there, but sheriff.franklincountyohio.gov/services/real estate sales, all with dashes. That website is all of the property that Franklin County is going to sell at their sheriff sale. The dates are listed. The minimum bids are listed. These are not in my MLS, guys. They're not. So the dates are listed that the sale is going to occur. And oftentimes there's a property condition report. about 50% of the time now, depending on the county, there's a property condition report. There has been like an overview of a broker price opinion has been done. So the minimum bid has been set for a sheriff sale property. Let's just say that a property is going up for sheriff sale. I would guess off the top of my head that they're on Fridays, and I would guess there's probably between like 6 and 10 sheriff sales on any given sheriff sale. Now, when the market was completely in the tank, there were 30 and 40 on that Friday. So there's not nearly as many, but they do exist. They're not something that you find in the MLS. You have to go to the county and you have to Google Fairfield County Sheriff Sale, Pickaway County, Union County, et cetera, et cetera. Another item on bank owns, guys, think about Hubzu. Hubzu is a collective bank owned website. Hubzu is where banks hire Hubzu, which is an umbrella outfit, to list their REO, which is real estate owned. Things like REO. If your realtor doesn't know what REO means, that's a big problem. But that's okay though. That's all right. We can teach them. So Hubzu is a bank-owned website. And guys, there's dozens more. Hubzu is a bank-owned, one of the premier #1 major sites where banks list their REO, their real estate owned, and they list the property condition reports, and they list how they're going to be selling it. And most of them at this point, you can bid right online. So you can bid on that property right online. Moving past that particular bank owned, let's go to HUD. So I'm a HUD licensed broker, as I mentioned, and at HUD actually has a website themselves, and it's called HUDhomestore.com. Great website, HUDhomestore.com. Again, if you have a HUD licensed broker, such as myself, you can, but it can be any HUD licensed broker. You can bid on these properties. You can go right to HUD Home Store and you can place a bid. And there's a property condition report telling you the state of affairs. And I'm happy to, Kathy, I'm going to give Kathy some of the example. They're actually called PRCs. So that you can open these in the mastermind website and you can look at a property condition report. It tells you the state of affairs with the roof, the mechanicals, etc. So you know exactly what the condition is that you're bidding on, because I want you all to know that these ones oftentimes you can't get into. It's very limited when you're going to Hubzu and a sheriff sale and on the HUD Home Store. You can't necessarily get into these ahead of time before you bid. But when you move up the food chain as an investor, you don't care. You start to not care about being able to get in because you know you're at a level where you've driven around, you know the neighborhood, it's still standing, the roof is good, the windows are in, the foundation appears to not have any 2-inch cracks in it. You're probably going to get to that point where you start to move forward and you make bids. So Hubzu, sheriff sale, every single county sheriff sale, HUD Home Store. Now let's go to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac properties. Let's go to HomePath. Homepath.com. So a Fannie Mae owned property, which Fannie Mae, when there are certain types of loans, guys, and the holder is Fannie Mae of these properties, and you or me default, and we can no longer pay that note, it defaults and goes back to Fannie Mae, and Fannie Mae owned notes. And by note, I mean instrument. By instrument, I mean mortgage. By mortgage, I mean it's the loan that you get from the bank to pay off your monthly payment. So if the instrument or the note or the loan has been given back to Fannie Mae, they have a website called homepath.com. HomePath, you can get into these properties. These are actual properties that are listed in the MLS, and there is something that's really important for you guys to know. These are properties that the current owner could not keep up the payments. They lost it. They let it go back to who owned the note. And then it's put up for sale, but there is always a first look initiative, and it's a first look period that's for owner occupants. And it's, guys, the reason that this exists is so that investors such as yourselves, I want you to know that there are amazing homes at homepath.com, but for the first week to 10 days, it's for owner occupants to bid. Owner occupants bid on these homes. After that, if no one has met the required minimum bid amount, and believe me, it's not public, so you just have to bid whatever you think you're willing to pay. After owner occupants have tried to bid and nobody ends up getting it, then it goes to investors such as yourself. And guys, these really do end up going to investors. Not so much in this market right now where
I
there's
bought
no
two
real
like that,
estate.
Steph.
You what?
I bought two like that.
That's awesome. And did you buy them as an investor or owner occupant?
As an investor. I
You
had to wait.
waited.
I had to wait the period, and then I was first through the door. I again, at the time, I didn't know you, Stephanie, but at the time I had a realtor that was willing to put my bid in at 12:01 a.m. And by 8 a.m. of the same day, I got a call that my bid had been accepted.
Oh my, I bet you were so excited. Yeah, a lot of people think it's not going to work. They think they're not going to get it, but you do. You've gotten two. As an investor, that is phenomenal news. See, guys, it does. It totally works. And in this market, there's not as much inventory, but that wave is going to come back around. I want everyone here to know that the market will stabilize. It will stabilize. I'm not saying tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm not even saying quickly, but there will come a point in your investing career where you'll see the market go up and down, up and down. And so there are going to be times when there's a lot more inventory. These websites I just gave you, HomePath, HUD Home Store, the Sheriff's Sale, each county, all in the Hubzu, all these websites, they're going to have inventory that's vast, that's way bigger than what it is right this moment. But it's still there. It's still there for sure. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go completely to another direction now. And you're going to think, what are you talking about? Let's go to online and paper newspaper ads, including for sale by owner and Craigslist. So this is an area that wholesalers will definitely try to pursue. This is an area, another one that I've had people tell me that they did it and it worked. And I wouldn't be sitting here telling you about it if it wasn't something that people do. So in for sale by owners, let me think of a really, really, really good example. I'm going to go to rental. Let's do rental. There are a lot of you that may want to buy and hold to rent it out. Like you want to buy a property and you want to hold it and keep it and rent it out. Listen to how amazing this is. If you were to think outside the box, this is huge. I know one of you are going to come back to me and be like, oh my gosh, that worked. Think outside the box. If one of you were to write a letter, whether you see something for rent on Craigslist or whether you see it on the columbusdispatch.com, whether you see it on Zillow, you see something for rent, hear me closely. You handwrite an email or a letter with paper and you literally send it off to the owner, right? Let's think of Kathy. Kathy's got like a bazillion rentals. So you send Kathy a letter and you actually say, hi, I am Frank and I see that you have this building for rent. And I noticed that you've owned this building for 18 years. And I was wondering if you might be interested ever in selling this building because I would like to own a building just like this. And I would also continue using it as a rental. And I would do exactly what you're doing. And have you ever thought of selling? And guys, you're not going to hear anybody tell you what I just told you. This works like hardly anyone. Every single time you see something for rent, and believe me, if you do your footsteps and your due diligence, and if the owner just bought that property a year ago, that's probably not going to work. But if you write the letter to an owner of a building or a home and they've owned it, 5, 7, 12, I mean, it could be a year, but if they've owned it a really long time, this is a big deal. And you write a letter saying, and just an email saying you're interested in buying that property. And guess what they're going to do? Mark my words here. They're going to get back to you and say, well, either A, they're going to say, no, thank you. B, they're going to go, well, for how much? What were you thinking? They are, guys. They're going to ask you how much. Guess what? They have no idea how much their property is worth. None. So that's where it comes in. You just got to bite. If you go to biggerpockets.com, one of those owners that does that mass mailing, I'm not joking. He'll be the first one to tell you that you have to do a lot of mailing, a lot of driving for dollars, a lot of knocking on doors, phone calling. You have to do a lot of it to get something to stick. But when you do, That's why you know about it. That's why you've heard of all the things that I'm telling you and that other people do, because it works. This is another one. That owner might say, well, geez, I've gotten 30 applicants today. And believe me, every person that owns property is getting 30 applicants a day. Believe me, I'm not joking. But to get a letter to say, wow, well, have you ever thought about selling that property because I'd really like to own your building? That's something they're not used to getting. And I tell you right now, the response is going to be, oh, well, what would you pay me? And guess what, guys? If you end up picking up your first property because you just did what I said, a lot of people just get tired of doing the same thing and they quit doing it. Don't get tired of it. Don't. Keep writing to the people on Craigslist and the people on Zillow that have their property for rent. Same thing with the for sale by owners. It is a big deal, guys. For sale by owners don't want to deal with a real estate agent for whatever reason. They think a for sale by owner, they think, and there's a ton of for sale by owners, they think they don't want to deal with the realtor because it's too expensive. They think that they won't make as much money, even though the opposite is actually true. They think they won't make as much. Whenever there's a for sale by owner, you should be writing to that for sale by owner and throwing that dart at that balloon and seeing, well, what would you be willing to sell at? And form a relationship. If I can say anything, guys, it's all about the relationship that you form with your audience. I can't even say it enough. It's all about the relationship that you form with them. So that's a whole nother realm right there of reaching out to for sale by owners, reaching out to, oh, I don't see you, Kath.
No, Derek just said that long-term older landlords may be more receptive to seller financing as well.
Amazing. Yeah.
I have a question.
Carol has a question. Go ahead, Carol.
Please do. Sure.
I'm just curious if it's been a successful rental property for them. Why would they be open to selling it to someone else? Like if I'm coming in and saying, oh, I want to buy this and I would want to continue renting it out. Why wouldn't they just say, no, it's been successfully rented out for so many years and I'm just going to keep building on my equity? Like help me with my pitch to them of why it would benefit them to sell it to me.
Oh my gosh, that's the funnest answer in America. That is so fun. I love it. That is such, I can give you the answer and it's so fun. Okay, I've been in real estate 19 years. I have traveled the world. I've lived in the country and out of the country. I have gone through marriage and moving cross country, moving in and out of the country. I've gone through changes in my life. I've gone through ups and downs. I've gone through different financial statuses. And I've owned many, many, many properties in my life. And I will tell you, did I know that I was going to get married? No. Did I know I was going to get divorced? No, I didn't. Did I know that I was going to change companies? No, I didn't. Did I know that I was going to move out of the country? No. Did I know I was going to come into a ton of money at one point? No. Did I know I was going to lose money at another point when the market crashed? No. The reason, I will tell you, 9 out of 10, let me do this, maybe 99 out of 100 are going to politely say, man, thank you so much. It's been a great rental. Actually, and you should use that. What you just said, you should use that in your letter. Just say, oh my gosh, I love this building. And it seems like people just rent it like that in a snap. Seems like everybody loves living here. Heck, you could even fib and be like, as a matter of fact, I think that if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have known somebody that rented there years ago, but I can't recall. And they just loved it. Use whatever tools are in your toolbox, and 99 out of 100 are going to say, oh, it's been a successful rental. And no, I don't really want to sell it. But the reason that people are going to say yes to you is because you might have caught them at a moment when they, oh my gosh, they just had their 4th kid and they really could take some stress off of their shoulders. And the tenants are getting to be a pain in the behind. Or a tenant may have just done something that was annoying and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to sell the building. Or they got married, or they got a divorce, or a whole myriad of things could have happened in their life where your letter might come at the right moment. And Kathy, I would love for you to follow up my answer with your answer. I would love to hear what your answer is, but my answer is you never know what someone's going through in life. And if they get that letter at the right moment, and if you write a heartfelt, sincere, nice letter saying, I would absolutely love to own your building and do what you do, I guarantee you that person is going to respectfully get back to you with whatever the answer may be. And you know what else? It might even form an incredible relationship where the relationship continues. And you might say, well, listen, keep me in mind if you did this letter writing campaign to people who rent out their property and stayed in touch with a lot of these people 2, 3, 4 years down the road, I can guarantee you, because owners flip properties so often, they don't all hold their rentals for 20 years. They don't. Believe me, they don't. They don't. So because of that, when they do go to sell, they may very well sell to you because you established that relationship and that introduction. And Kathy, what's your answer on that one, honey?
Well, I'm always in the market to sell something because I want to invest in more properties. So if I can liquidate one and buy two, it's a good deal for me, and it's a good deal for the person that wants to buy my one.
Got it. Thank you so much. That's helpful.
Yeah, it's such an exciting way because people just don't do it. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't know if that would work. It's actually, to me, I think it's even better than just writing letters. You guys all have received postcards at your house that say, I want to buy your house in your neighborhood. There's also the robocall. You get the robocall that says, do you own XYZ, Main Street? I would like to buy your house. That's really popular right now, the robocalls. Guys, another item that I would be remiss if I didn't, well, I'm going to go back to the static print marketing. I'm going to go back to a different one, but let me, I'll come off of that last one that I just hit on. Now let me move on to still yet another one. Another one is your own lead website to buy property. This is where you're up with today's times, you're up with the internet and the online marketing and the online frenzy, et cetera, et cetera. When you build your own lead website, and I'm going to tell you how to do it, not all the way, but I'm going to get you started. You can literally get people to come to you and you tell the world what you do. And here's where you build the website. You can build it for free, like on WordPress.com. You can build it for free on Wix.com. So you build your own website, and what you do on that website is you tell people what you do. Those are free. And I'm going to go into another one that's super helpful. You can do a free trial on. You tell the world what you do and people come to you. Then there's SEO, search engine optimization. And search engine optimization is what gets your website noticed. What you do is you describe yourself. I can give everyone examples of links of people that have property buying websites. I'm sure you guys have heard of the people that put out the signs that say, we buy ugly houses. And that's actually a franchise now. We want to buy your house. We buy ugly homes is a franchise now, which is a whole nother story. That started out as a sign in the yard. So if you do your own website, I want you all guys to consider leadpropeller.com. Leadpropeller.com is a site that you actually pay for. Now, guys, I want you to know that that one is done by Bigger Pockets. Lead Propeller, Bigger Pockets, the owners of Bigger Pockets, whom you've all heard of, everyone kept asking them, what do I do? What do I do? How do I get property? Leadpropeller.com is a service that Bigger Pockets runs, and they help create the website for you. You tell people what you do. You tell them, this is me, this is my family. I buy property. I buy distressed property. I buy expensive property. I buy rental property. I specialize in this niche market or that. I buy out of town specifically. Oh, I only buy condominiums, or I specialize in what you do. And then Bigger Pockets actually helps you with the website. They host it and you send it out on all of your social media, and it gets shared, and you put up like a new story and a new link. And the more people that see your website and that you share it, you put the link to your website at the bottom of every email that you send out that you buy property. So you tell people what you do. And again, leadpropeller.com, they can totally walk you through and help you with it. And you have your website, guys. You could have it within 48 hours. You're up and running, and you've got your own website that you buy property. So, and it gets exposed every possible place you can imagine with all of your social media expertise, etc. Put it at the bottom of every email. And what they do at Bigger Pockets is they have like a design template that allows you to pick it, make it look beautiful the way that you want it. And I could just go on and on, but you should all go to Lead Propeller and take a look at that, because you can have your own website. And look how professional you look, guys. If you've got your own website and maybe you're driving for dollars and you're writing letters for people that are renting out their building, and you might be going to United States Postal Service and sending out letters, and you've got a real estate agent that's got you set up on all these great searches, and you're going to all the bank-owned websites, and there's so much to do that you could not fit it all in any given week or month. I mean, you can't. There's so many ways to find and to buy property. It is endless. There's so many ways to do it. So I'll move past Lead Propeller, but that's a great one. And Kathy, I don't know why, but everyone's gone. Can anybody see me?
Yes, you're still there. Everybody's still here. We're listening and we can see you.
Oh, okay, good deal. Okay.
Stephanie's on her phone. Those of you that don't know, Stephanie's on her phone, so she doesn't have the same view. If you're on your computer, she's actually on her phone, so she doesn't have the same
I'm on my phone too.
Yeah, but we're all still here.
Yeah,
Me
and
too.
I'm never on my phone, so everyone knows. And Kathy and I were together the day after Christmas, and Kathy was able to see that I have one of those ring lights now, guys, that white light, and it's holding my phone, and my phone is up in front of me on this Zoom call, so it's really fun. So yeah, I really like it a lot.
Your glasses.
You do?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
it's interesting. I was thinking the same thing. Does she have one of those round-looking lights?
Kathy, wow, can you see it? It's probably reflecting in my glasses.
It reflects a certain way you turn, it reflects a little bit, yes.
Oh, that is just too funny. Well, geez. Okay. All righty. Well, kids, let me get back to the topic at hand. Let's move on to some static print marketing. So this is another thing. I think I just recapped like 8 ways or something of that nature. I don't even know. I'm not counting, but let's move on to static. If you add static print marketing on top of everything that I just told you, oh my goodness, it's getting to be so much. So static print marketing are like the 2x3 lawn signs. You guys, those lawn signs are like $8 each, and that's an expensive price. I mean, you can get them much, much cheaper. But the corrugated plastic 2x3 signs that really do say that you buy homes, and again, have a sign that you have a niche. And Kathy, I know, is going to back me up here and talk about zoning and the counties and the townships and where you can put the signs and when and so on and so forth. But you guys throw down a couple $100, order 100 signs to start with. And believe me, there are people that order 1,000 signs a month. There's no doubt. And they pay some teenager to go put them in the ground everywhere, or they do it themselves. Make your signs eye-catching. You could write your cell phone number and you could put something like whatever phrase you want. You can Google some catchy phrase or some tagline, but make it known that you will buy any house, whether it's in distressed condition or not. Or go the opposite, guys. Say that you buy beautiful homes. Instead of ugly homes, say that you buy beautiful homes. Bottom line is, let people know that you buy by putting those signs in the neighborhoods that you're targeting. There's a thing called a right-of-way on the curb in any city. And the right-of-way, there's an area on the curb where you are allowed to place a sign. You truly are. And there's other areas where you're not allowed to place the sign. So once you have your signs made with your cell phone number with some sort of a catchphrase, put them in the areas where you know that the people driving to and from home in these older established neighborhoods where it seems like everyone has lived there for 30 years. You can put them there. You can put them anywhere. So that is a static lawn sign, but there's you got to watch, like I said, the county and city and township rules. If you need any help learning these rules, I can definitely direct you to go to that county's signage rules. They're all publicly listed. And what will happen is your signs will be, it's called a sign sweep. Your signs will be taken and thrown away eventually by the city. Kids will knock them over. So it's kind of expensive. I'm sure you guys see them a lot. The following week, you see that they're gone. But that is print marketing. But let's take print marketing some to a different direction, guys. Let's go to park benches. You can literally, not even park benches, but like benches near, you see them. I'm sure you guys see that it's really inexpensive for you to rent a bench. It's a lot less than renting an entire billboard. I'm here to tell you. Billboards are anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 a month, depending on where they're at, the visibility. Benches are much less expensive. They're anywhere from $200 to $600 a month. And the bench could be heading, you get off 71 North and you're heading to some of these older established neighborhoods, and you've got all of that commercial shopping along the way. Right there at 161, there's all these benches, and you can see where it says, call me to rent. You never read benches, but people do look over and read them because you just did it. And I know you did it because I do it. So we all do it. So that's definitely another really good one. Oh, Glega. Besides renting in that aspect, go ahead.
Zena just says she has to jump off. Zena, so good to see you.
Bye, Dina. So guys, this is another really big one on print marketing, a moving billboard. It does not get any better than this. How many of you have considered biting the bullet and turning your car into your business? A moving billboard is your car. If you go to vistaprint.com, for example, you can get a removable door sticker. You can get vinyl for your back window of your automobile. You can put vinyl bumper sticker. You can get non-damaging, non-permanent lettering for your car with your phone number, your website. Put your website and your phone number, or lead people to the website that you already built. Remember, you can do free websites like at WordPress, or you can go to a hosted website and pay for that. So a moving billboard is really incredible when you take your car, which is the best advertisement. You're in it constantly. What if you wrote a message like beep now? What if you wrote beep now, I'll buy your house? Just an example. Beep now, I'll buy your house. And somebody's beeping at you, or beep now, I'll pull over. And right on there, I will buy your house. Beep now, I'll pull over. I'm not kidding at all. You've got to think outside the box. And all of these things that I've mentioned tonight are things that everybody in this world is doing, one or the other, who have made it to the top. And I mean, all the way to the top of investing in real estate, whether it be working with the wholesalers, whether it be the print marketing, whether it be having a website and driving business to your site, driving business by putting it on social media, whether it be writing the letters, doing the mailers, sending out the postcards. That's huge, of course. And same thing, sending out your postcards, whether it be finding all of the property on realtor.com, signing up with a real estate agent and getting all the listings sent to you. Literally, no kidding, guys, the car is huge. You can wrap it and stencil it permanently, and it would look fabulous for a couple $1,000s. Atley Graphics actually does that, ATCHLEY. Atley Graphics specializes in wrapping cars in a little or a lot. And I don't get any money, no $5 kickback. I'm just mentioning they're really good at what they do. They have examples of all their cars on their website that they've turned into a moving billboard. Side of door magnets, you can get those anywhere for $20. You can get a side of the car door magnet for advertising that you buy property. No matter what you do, you have to speak your heart. You have to speak what you do and what your intention is and what your goal is. You have to tell people what your mission is, and it's to buy and own property. Because if you live your life with your mission as your passion and you're passionate about it, it comes back to you and it shows. And if you get excited and tell other people, oh my gosh, I'm going to be buying property, I'm buying property. You may be worked in an office job for 20 years and people are like, oh, really? You're going to do that? You're going to buy property now? But guess what? They'll share your website and they'll literally be supportive of you. And I have to point this out. One leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. I've said it all along that if you do the right thing, it all falls into place. So in your career of buying your first property, which leads to the second, which leads to another, which leads to another. If you just get the first property under your belt and you do the right thing, you buy it with integrity and heart and honesty, and you go about it the right way, the second one always follows the first one, always. And then it rolls and you build and you get another and you get another. I guess you can say the exact same thing, whether it be your finances in life. If you do the right thing, the rest falls into place. If you're ethical, if you're honest, if you're real, with property that you buy, with lending and loans, your cash flow that's in your life, tenants that you get when you do have property and you fill your property, the tenants that you have. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe how good Kathy treats her tenants. I mean, it is extraordinary. She does. And they come back to her tenfold. And people don't ever want to leave Kathy's properties either. They simply don't ever want to leave her property. And when you do find, which is the F we're talking about tonight, when you find your property and you go through the 6 F's, which I think Kathy is going to go over at least one more time, the 6 F's, I just know that in the end, it leads to the freedom number, guys. And the freedom number is what you're looking for to replace your income or not. Maybe you do want to keep your job, but that freedom number is how much property that you need to buy and acquire, whether you're going to flip it, whether you're going to put it in your portfolio, rent it out, buy and hold. No matter what you're going to do, that freedom number is what you need to, it's why you're here right now. It's why you're here tonight. And gosh, I'm just so excited that you are here, and bless you for being here and finding the property. There's so many ways. Everything I just said, I'll send to Kathy to put on her site, every single word of it, no problem. And I'm here for all of you. And by the way, any questions that anyone has about any of the sections, we went over 11 ways to find.
Stephanie, thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of those links that Stephanie talked about. And what I will do is I will, when I record, this is being recorded. So when I post the recording in the Happy House Hunters group, I will post a place where you guys can get those links as well. So I want you to be able to get those, because I know it was a lot of information to write down. And so I'll actually have those in print. I'll get those from her. So Stephanie, thank you so much. We're going to see if we've got some questions here. I think maybe it was Carol that had a question, but anyway, anyone that has questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask Stephanie your question.
Yeah, anything that's on your mind, like, man, I've been wanting to know the answer to that question, and you know what happens and you can't think of them. But yeah, it's a lot of information, a lot of data, but there's so many, going back to it, just so many ways to get your properties.
Do you know any investor-friendly agents in Florida?
I do have an investor-friendly agent in Florida. I actually bought her house. She was my real estate agent in Florida. You know, I do. I got my real estate license in Florida. And just so you know, the agents that I know are, one set of agents are the Orlando area, Orlando, Sanford area, and the other are Palm Beach. So I know real estate agents in 2 areas of Florida, both central north.
And I have a guy in Sarasota. I just worked with him and bought a property in the Bradenton, Sarasota area. So I have a guy that's very investor friendly there.
I think I'm the closest one to the Palm Beach one.
Absolutely. Shoot me an email and I'll reply with that info for you.
Steph, put your information in the chat box so everyone can contact you.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do that. I've never been on a phone before.
Kyle, are you on a computer?
I got it, Kath.
I was going to say maybe Kyle could enter some information there while we're answering questions.
Did he not hear you? Maybe. Here we go.
Yeah, he did.
I'm on my computer.
There you go. I think that went up.
Yeah, and Chris added some info as well.
Oh, great. It's Stephanie Jenkins at remax.net. I'll put that on here too.
Okay, any other questions from anyone?
There we go.
This has been a great presentation. I love it. Stephanie, your passion definitely shows through.
So I can answer that question about investors competing if they have to borrow to purchase. The question is, can investors even compete if they have to borrow money to purchase? And that is, the answer to that is in the price range that you are buying in Columbus, in the Columbus market. If you are buying something that is under, if it's 50,000 or less, you pretty much can count on the fact that it has to be cash. If it's 50,000 or less, there's only 2 lenders in this whole entire city that will even touch a loan under 50,000. And then if it's between 50 and 100,000, you are going to be under competition from cash buyers by about 80%, under competition from cash buyers. And then once you hit 100%, it drops. The number that seems to be the cutoff. So once something is over 100,000, your competition against somebody with cash, particularly if it's a distressed property, for example, I'll tell you how you've got a leg up on that. But if it's 100,000 or more, then the competition on cash drops to about 40%. That's not bad at all. And here's the deal. If you're an investor buying investor property and maybe it's distressed, for example, the listing agent, my angle, if my client needs to get a loan to buy a property, if it happens to be distressed, I would be the first one to say, oh, we're doing a rehab loan. We're doing a 203K or a 203B rehabilitation loan in order to fix it up, to be able to rent it out or to be able to flip it or whatever it is. Even to flip it, we're doing a rehab loan. So my angle would be, for myself, if I was representing someone that had to get a loan, I would tell the other agent, oh, you've got to go with my clients. They're wonderful clients. And not only that, but we're getting a rehabilitation loan. So it's guaranteed to go through. I would find ways, and I do, by the way, I do find a lot of ways to angle and position my clients to make sure they're always first in line. And I must say, yes, I have definitely had clients that are probably on this call that have lost property to cash buyers. Then I also have clients that definitely have gotten property over top of a cash buyer. Guess why? Because their offer with the loan was straight up higher than the cash. The cash people just want to pay this little amount of cash, when if you're getting a loan, but you're willing to pay more, there are a lot of sellers that will consider that.
Vince just made a comment.
I can't see any comments.
Okay, Vince just made a comment, said 203K are owner occupied loans.
Yes, there's 2 different types of rehabilitation loans, and one is specifically only owner occupied and the other is not. And depending on what, I can go down this road with you on owner occupant, believe it or not, the loophole of getting around the owner occupied loop on that is like a bed and breakfast. Airbnb, bed and breakfast, there's a loophole of moving around on a rehabilitation loan. And so one, though, you can't move around at all. It's only owner occupant, only.
Now, can you actually then use it as an investment property after so long? For example, I don't know exactly my loan type in Florida, but after 24 months, I can actually use it as an investment property.
Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry, did you ask me a question or were you making a comment?
No, I was.
You reading? You're reading. I think I see you reading.
No, I was asking on my note in Florida, after 24 months, I can use it as an investment. I can keep the same note and use the property as an investment property after 24 months.
Yeah, there's a lot of public rules on getting loans. And when you do get the loan, depending on the type of loan that you get, what you can do and when. Like, for example, when you're buying, and it's a whole huge conversation about loan types, the types of financing, FHA, or if you get a grant, like in other words, can you use a grant to actually, like Elise, literally, think about this. We have clients who Elise didn't end up using the Ohio Housing Finance Agency grant, but Elise just used an FHA product. She could have used a grant, an Ohio Housing Finance Agency grant, to buy a double, which is a complete investment property. And she could have been given 2.5 of her 3.5% down payment. That's free money. And she lives on one side and rents out the other. So you're even using a grant and using free money to buy and secure the double, which is an investment property. Same things goes for, there are certain rehabilitation loans and there's portfolio loans where the rules are different, and there are loans for every opportunity, and there are rules with how long you have to own or occupy a property before you can publicly move out of it, for example, and change it to a rental.
Now we're getting a little bit down in the weeds with
Yeah,
funding,
we're getting a little off track.
which is our next month's topic. But Stephanie, because you've done so many deals, you do understand a lot of the funding portion of it.
Yes.
Miranda wants to know the difference between a 203K and B.
One is for an owner occupied property, and one is for lesser repairs, and one is for a higher dollar amount of repairs, a higher level of repair.
And again, we're going to get into more detail next month when we do funding.
Yes.
How do I find this group again next week?
We meet for free once a month. It's the first Tuesday of every month, and we're called Happy House Hunters. We have a free Facebook group, so you can go to Facebook and simply search for Happy House Hunters and ask to join there. And we also are on Meetup.com, and you can go there and join Happy House Hunters. And both places, I will actually post all of our first Tuesday meetups so that you can join. And then what we do have is a separate group of mastermind members, and they join through my website, which is kathybinner.com for the mastermind.
I got here through the Meetup app.
I'm sorry?
I got here through the Meetup app.
I didn't understand the question.
It wasn't a question. I got here through the Meetup app.
Okay, so that's how you found us, was through the Meetup app. Okay, yes. And
Yeah.
all of our free sessions will be listed there.
Sure, thanks.
And gosh, guys, I just have to point out, for anyone, if this is anyone's first time with this group, then welcome 2021. Welcome to you for coming today. It's an amazing group, and it's just been an unbelievable year in 2020. And for anyone who has come here, oh my goodness sakes, if you do end up enjoying and learning, which you will learn and enjoy so much, it's so great. But if you do want to take it a step further and actually move over into the mastermind, you can't even imagine the level of benefits that are there. One-on-one, personal, hands-on advice and resources. Oh, goodness sakes. So many of Kathy's clients have, from masterminds, have in fact moved forward and bought, gosh, a couple of them, multiple properties in the last year of 2020. It's an incredible opportunity on that level as well, I have to say. And Tim, thank you for coming.
Mm-hmm. And the mastermind is just $25 a month, and you can sign up for that, and it gets you the complete course. And I'll run through it again. It's the 6 F's of real estate, which is finding, funding, fixing, flipping, filling, and then finally freedom in real estate investing. So there's a complete course inside the mastermind area. Then there's also the mastermind replays of all of our mastermind meetups. We record those, and they're put in there in a library format so that you can go back and look up a particular topic and listen to the recording again if you'd like. And then we also have forms that are all downloadable, anything from lease agreements to 3-day notices to 30-day notices resources, walkthrough, checklist, all of those forms are in there. So you don't have to try to buy them or find them somewhere else. And then we're just now starting to add to our list of resources for independent contractors. And so if you're looking for a roof guy or an HVAC or carpet or blinds or whatever it is that you need, we'll start putting referrals from all of the members. And so that list grows every day. So all of that is found in the mastermind site if anyone's interested. Perfect. I love it. We've had a great meeting, and I know it's going a little long. Let's see here. I think there was another question.
Guys, so great to have all of you and see you. So great to see you all.
Yeah. Tim says, thanks so much. His interest is in non-performing mortgage notes.
Wow. So am I.
So that's another whole topic.
I'm joking. Tell him he can teach the class on that one for us.
That's another whole topic. So yeah. So anyway, again, we're looking for speakers. Again, the topics are finding, which is what our topic was for tonight. But then it's funding. So if we have anyone on the call that is affiliated with a lender or however you fund, whether it's private money or hard money or anyone that has a connection there, we'd love to talk with them about being a presenter. And then of course it's about fixing, and then we talk about flipping, and then filling, and then finally freedom. So if you have any connections that you want to send over to me, you can reach me through my website. Again, it's kathybinner.com. And Stephanie, we've got yours up there again. Say yours again so folks can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. My email is Stephanie Jenkins at remax.net, which is written up there, Stephanie Jenkins at remax.net. And if you just Google Stephanie Jenkins Remax, then I will pop up for you, as well as my website is stephaniejenkins.net. And then they're all aliases. They all feed to the same website. So you'll find it there. My number is there. Guys, feel free to shoot me an email or a text or a call, and definitely reach out to me and I'll get back to you. Kathy, I'm sending you over the document from tonight, so you've got that on hand. Perfect. And I'm just so glad everybody came tonight. Kath, Happy New Year again.
Yes, Happy New Year. It's good to see everyone.
You too.
So, stay connected. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. We're glad that you're here. Please come back and see us the first Tuesday of every month at 6 o'clock, and check out the mastermind, and talk to everyone later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.